Hello, today I am covering Model P, the most polarizing model in the Mega Man ZX series, and the one that got second place in the poll I made for the Model ZX video. There is a lot to talk about for this model, and due to how it is in this series, it's very hard for me to generalize it for both games. Like in the Model H video, the damage and combo values will be on the top right corner of the screen for any moves I talk about. Same stuff as before, I'll be covering the basics and more complex things about this model. Here's the games I'm covering, so let's get into it. Model P is based on Phantom from the Mega Man Zero series. I like him a lot, he's my third favorite Guardian, but due to how little he's seen, it hurts how much I like him. In Mega Man ZX, you get Model P by defeating Purpro, and further upgrading it by defeating Protectos. In Advent, you get it by defeating Cyranak. Model P has one weapon, being the kunais. Before we get to the attacks, I need to cover the general stuff. Model P has the Biometal Gauge. The Biometal Gauge dictates if you can use charge moves or not, as charge moves spend Biometal Gauge. In Mega Man ZX, you can also run out of Overdrive if you run out of Biometal Gauge. The Biometal Gauge cannot self-recover in Mega Man ZX, but it does in Advent, refilling by 1 point every 3 seconds. In Mega Man ZX, the lower level you get when beating a Pseudoroid, the less Biometal Gauge you get. Model P has a mechanic that is only in Mega Man ZX. All Guardian models have this, and so does Model OX. This mechanic is the Overdrive, which is activated by tapping A. When it's activated, all of your attacks do double damage, and all of them inflict that model's respective element. Model P has the null element, so nothing special happens. 1 point of the Biometal Gauge is depleted upon activation, and 1 point is depleted every second. Model P has the radar scope on the bottom screen. All enemies will be marked in exclamation points. This allows you to get a different look at where you're currently at, even specifying where spikes, platforms, and walls are. It's only useful if the screen is covered in darkness, like parts of Area I and the Quarry, for example. Finally, Model P can hit on certain platforms, background elements, and ceilings. The platforms must be able to be dropped through for you to hang onto them. You hang on these by holding up on the D-pad or joystick. Starting with the attacks are the kunais. You can throw a max of 4 kunais, depending on how long you hold the Y or R buttons, but even a short press can throw all 4 of them. You can also, of course, throw kunais in the air while sliding down walls and while dashing. Throwing them in the air or while sliding down walls will have the kunais spread out. Throwing them while dashing will have them go a little closer to the ground. In Advent, while all ways of throwing kunais are the same, some kunais will now go diagonally up, instead of going straight or diagonally down. The rest of Model P's kit in Mega Man ZX is 2 charged moves, and a special thing in Overdrive. The first charged move is the Shuriken. You also get this in ZX Advent as Gray. This move is performed by holding Y or R with no directional inputs. You can use this as soon as you see blue sparks, being a level 1 charge. In Advent, you have to wait until you get orange sparks around you, being a level 2 charge, which makes this move take longer to use. This move will have the Shuriken spawn a moderate distance away from you, stay there for about a second, and then go back to you. This depletes 2 points of the Biometal Gauge in ZX, and in ZX Advent. The other charge move is the Shield. This move is performed by holding Y or R, holding up, and then releasing it. A shield will spawn around you, which is able to protect you from certain projectiles, but if a projectile is strong enough, or you get hit by something that isn't a projectile, the shield will disappear, and you'll get hit. The shield can also hit enemies if you get close enough to one, disappearing in the process. For example, if an enemy contacts you, they may not do any damage to you, but they have to die to the shield for that to happen. This move depletes 4 points of the Biometal Gauge. In Overdrive, if you dash, it becomes the Shadow Dash. Nothing changes about the dash itself, other than it being invincible for the duration, being able to pass through most enemies, since ones like the faces can't be passed through, and projectiles. Do keep in mind though that instant death hazards, like lava or spikes, and certain attacks, especially from Omega, will ignore your invincibility, hitting you in your Shadow Dash. This also originates from Zero 3, having the Shadow Dash for one of the foot chips. Moving on to the Advent moves, as Ash, you get access to the Mandala Shield. 6 shurikens will spawn around you. These are able to hit enemies. When an enemy is hit, one of the shurikens will disappear for each time they hit an enemy. This doesn't apply to every type of fin I'll mention now, but they can also disappear when hitting something that can't do damage to you, but you can damage, like the Glass and Legion HQ, and vice versa, like other types like Glass and Legion HQ. This attack does protect you from weak projectiles, but one will disappear, so the less shurikens are up, the more likely you'll get hit. This move depletes 2 points of the biometal gauge. Gray has the better exclusive move. While the Mandala Shield is decent, the Shuriken is better in most cases. The other Advent move doesn't have a name, as far as official names go. I'll call it the Radar Kunai for the rest of the video. This move is performed by tapping anything marked with an exclamation point, or using the right stick to hover anything marked with an exclamation point and pressing ZR. This will fire a kunai at that thing, regardless of where it is. As long as the radar scope sees it, it's fair game. This move depletes 1 point of the biometal gauge for every kunai thrown. With all the basics out of the way, let's move on to the complexities. This may not technically be a complexity, but it's still important. You can have more than 4 kunais on screen. You just need to use the 2 attack buttons and hold them down, or you can just mash. Doing this in the air can also get a bunch of kunais on screen as well. The limit to the amount of kunais are how many are currently on screen. In the air or on walls, you can cancel the kunai spread by repeatedly mashing the attack button, letting you quickly fire several kunais where they are needed in the air. You can keep the shuriken on screen for a while, or potentially forever. The easiest way to do this is jump a short amount, but high enough to where you can dash under it. Dash to where the shuriken is, and it will loop around you. You can also do this by throwing the shuriken, dash jumping close to where it is, and then it will loop around you. In this case, you need to time your jumps well to continue the loop. And the higher you jump to throw it, the higher the shuriken will be, and the harder it will be to continue the loop. You can also do this with the shield boomerang in 01 to 3, but that's for a future video, if I ever plan on doing that. You can also throw the shuriken to one side of the screen, and constantly dash to the other side. This allows you to keep your shuriken on screen for longer, potentially killing any enemies in the process. The shuriken is always faster than you, so it will catch up eventually. You can use Shadow Dash with your kunais to get free damage on enemies while you're dashing through them. This can insta-kill most enemies, and get good damage on anything that survives it. For the final complexity, you can use the radar kunais in tandem with the normal kunais, getting more kunais on screen and dealing more damage to enemies and mini-bosses. With the complexities done, let's move on to the stages. In Mega Man ZX, Model P overall does pretty good. It's not the best all of the time, but it's really good in some situations. Shadow Dashing allows you to go straight through annoying enemies, and the shield will let you deal with them if they instantly die to it. If you jump and throw a shuriken and then dash through the enemy, the shuriken can kill several enemies while you're shadow dashing. Kunais can also be really good, since they can kill enemies as soon as they spawn, but that's more of a memorization thing. In Mega Man ZX, Model P is amazing in Area H due to shadow dashes, in Area L because the kunais can help a lot with the mini satellites. Both stages are practically made for this model, and Area I due to the darkened areas. It gets great usage in Area K since you can kill annoying threats really fast, or ignore them with the shadow dashes, Area F since you can get rid of the frosty bears quickly, and Area X during the raid, but I'll get to that later. Model P is still good in the rest of the stages, but not amazing in them. All of that assumes you constantly have the biometal gauge. If you don't, while it isn't terrible, it does the lowest damage of any model, so make sure you conserve your biometal gauge and only use it when you need it most. In Advent, Model P isn't bad in the stages, but it has less great uses than in ZX. It's required in the scrapyard due to these hanging platforms that would get you stuck otherwise, and obviously, it's good in Legion HQ, since you're meant to get Model P there. Model P is also good in the quarry, as a big part of the stage is darkened, but it gets stuck at the chase section. Model P can be good in the floating ruins, Tower of Redo, and Control Center with proper play. It just gets stuck during Arctic Ice Flow, Biolab, and Waterfall Ruins, making you have to switch forms. And it doesn't do particularly well in them in the first place, except for Arctic Ice Flow. Model P is really good in the stages of ZX, and it isn't bad in the stages of Advent, not at all, but due to how underpowered it is compared to some other models, especially Model CX, and since Advent loves forcing you to switch forms, it becomes a form that's only used when it's needed. With the stages done, let's move on to the enemies and bosses. This is where, for me personally, the most polarizing aspect of this model comes from. Model P is great against enemies in ZX, as you can very quickly kill any of them, or ignore the ones that can't be passed through with Shadow Dash. The shield can insta-kill weak enemies that are annoying, and the shuriken can be great if used correctly. For Advent, the Mandalay shield can be good if you want to get through enemies with weak projectiles, or deal with annoying enemies without going out of your way for them. And the radar kunais are good for getting enemies in tough spots, or damaging them while hiding from them. For mini-bosses in Mega Man ZX, Model P does pretty good for the most part. It's great against the Met, Keen Flyer, Magma Devil, and the Crush Pactors. Overdrive kunais can make quick work of them, and if that doesn't work, like the Steefinks, Dia Drake, and Orhawk for example, Overdrive shurikens can do the job. In Advent, Model P does decent against every mini-boss, except for the Giganto Bowl, as the shield makes it tricky to hit if you aren't using Gray. Spamming regular and radar kunais can help deal with the Spy Drill, and the shurikens are good for every mini-boss in the game. The Mandalay shield can be good, but the shield can collide with things that can't be damaged, so that can be annoying. I've been saying that shurikens are great for mini-bosses, but why is that? Well, earlier in the video, I mentioned how you can have the shuriken loop around you, which can do good damage to enemies. On the Met for example, if you use the shuriken loop, whenever the shuriken is hitting the mini-boss, you can spam kunais to get damage for every frame. The shuriken and kunais collide. This is good for nearly every mini-boss, but it's especially good against the big ones, including the ones in Area X and Area O. If you haven't already watched the Model H video, this is known as damage stacking, which originates from the Zero series. When two moves collide on the same frame against the enemy or mini-boss, they will do damage for every frame they still collide, which means some mini-bosses can be killed in seconds. Moving on to bosses, here are the combo charts for Model P in Mega Man ZX and ZX Advent. Pause if you want to read. As mentioned earlier in the video, Model P is a model of the null element. This makes all damage Model P does the exact same against every boss, so you won't have any bosses where you can kill them in 5 seconds or in 5 years, like how some other models do. For Model P's combo routes in ZX, it's pretty simple, as it doesn't have many moves. Shield, kunais, and shuriken. This combo is simple, but effective. Overdrive is the reason why the high damage is possible, as it would be pretty low otherwise. Any of these moves can be removed from a combo, depending on the type of boss. You can use shields by either going really close to a boss, or passing through them with the Shadow Dash, which opens up opportunities no other model in the series has. Kunais can do quick damage, and they can be useful in the air if you get really close to the boss. Shuriken loops can be very good if you use them correctly. They are easiest on Hurricane from my personal experience, but out of the bosses they can work on, none of them should be too bad to get the loop working. In Advent, Overdrive is completely gone, which makes Model P's damage output way lower. While this hurts every Guardian model, Model P is by far hit the hardest by this. For other examples, due to the Shuriken being nerfed to a level 2 charge, the kunais can't truly combo in the Shuriken, so using the Shuriken in its loop is your best way to damage them. Mandalay Shield could be good, but it only hits the bosses once before they become invincible, only doing free damage. I do want to let you know it does shield from boss projectiles, so that can be useful. This means your highest damaging combo in Advent, as Ash, is 7 damage. For radar kunais, they have a lower combo value than the first kunai, so you can combo into all the normal kunais, but you can't combo radar kunais into each other. To summarize all the changes from ZX to Advent, Model P loses Overdrive, the shield from ZX, and the Shuriken is a level 2 charge, instead of a level 1 charge. Overall against bosses, Model P is really good in ZX. Model P is really good in ZX, as you can do great damage very quickly, and you can do things no other model can. In Advent, you may as well just be forced to use Shuriken spam and occasional kunai use as Gray, and Ash is just bad, as you do 7 damage at your maximum every combo. Overall, I call Model P in Mega Man ZX underrated, as it was seen as bad for a long time, until more videos showing its skill came out for the years, making its true potential known, as it's only used when it's required, due to most other models, especially ZX, being better than it. This isn't to say it's useless in Advent though, it absolutely isn't. I don't want to end this video on a negative note though. The next video in this series will be on Model L, and you'll be seeing that one a lot sooner than you saw this video after Model H's video. Thanks for watching this video. This was my first video I'm fully doing on my new computer, so there were probably first time pains. I'll see you next time with a video I've been thinking of making for some time. I'm gonna put the most care into that one, since it's very special to me so far, and I can't wait for you to see it, even if it's on something that's probably not that popular.